Joe Biden needs to go. Not resign, just not run for president again. The least fun election in our lifetimes is starting now, and man, is it gonna suck. You have two candidates, both of whom are about as popular as a sinus infection, sailing to their respective nominations, and the rest of us are forced to sit back and watch this horrific spectacle like Joe Pesci, the first time he saw someone put pineapple on pizza. We all knew that Biden was slowing down. Now we learn that Biden is cognitively impaired to the point where he can't remember basic dates and is referring to world leaders who died decades ago as the current presidents of foreign nations. In Biden's mind, he met with Genghis Khan here. And while Xi Jinping looks like Pooh Bear, Biden looks old and frail. He's senile.
Sorry.
So out to lunch that apparently the U.S. attorney let him off in the mishandled documents case because he thought the jury would feel sorry for him and let him off the hook. Having someone like Biden in the White House is dangerous, and not just because there are a lot of sharp objects and electrical outlets. Regardless of what you think of his policies, the president controls the military, our national security, a sweeping bureaucracy. He has the ability to make unilateral decisions that affect our safety, and no one in the White House is going to say no to him. Also, a president has to be able to remember stuff and call upon past experiences to guide them through their term. They have to have a good grasp of history. Biden can't even remember when he was vice president. He needs to instill at least a modicum of confidence in the American people so they don't think the president is getting lost in the White House and asking the portraits of former presidents for directions. I don't want Biden wandering aimlessly and ending up in the White House freezer because William Howard Taft doesn't remember the layout. Did you know William Howard Taft once got stuck in the White House bathtub? He was a bit fluffy. I know the best people for the job don't always become president, but Jesus! Do we even care about anything anymore? No one is pretending that Joe Biden is Harrison Ford in Air Force One. He's not even Bill Pullman in the second Independence Day movie. Biden's lucky. I wish I could forget that debacle. Sure, the White House is desperately trying to salvage his presidency and his campaign, but I think that most people hear the Biden surrogate say he's super sharp and feel like the Democrats are insulting their intelligence. Democrats want to sell us this image of Biden as the pinnacle of octogenarian vitality, riding his bike and getting really angry at pressers. If that's true, why aren't they letting him do interviews? We all see what's happening to this guy. And listen, I'm not ignoring Donald Trump's insanity and gaffes. He makes plenty of them. He's almost as old as Biden. But he also has boundless energy and is probably hopped up on Adderall and Diet Coke all day. But I don't watch Trump and think that he could collapse at any second and die midway through a speech, or pause for 5 minutes mid-sentence, or start talking about things that never happened, like the time that Biden went hang gliding with Ted Kennedy, or the time that he and Barack Obama solved that mystery with Scooby-Doo. Biden simply cannot do the job and meet the already very low expectations of the American people. But he's running for re-election anyway and could potentially get another 4 years in office. For the good of the country, he needs to step aside for another Democrat and serve out the rest of his term in a dignified way. This is what Lyndon Johnson did in 1968. He was a sitting president who was wildly unpopular due to the Vietnam War. He stepped down and made way for his vice president. He could have remained the nominee if he wanted to, but he saw the writing on the wall and jumped out of the race for the good of the party. Democrats still lost in November and then proceeded to lose 4 of the next 5 presidential elections, but he is now revered by Democrats. Biden can make it through the primaries. He's virtually unopposed and has the power of incumbency. A few weeks after he secures the delegates to win the nomination, he should announce he isn't running and let the Democrats sort out the new candidate at the convention. Democrats have a deeper bench than Republicans give them credit for, and many of these candidates would almost certainly beat Trump. Right now, they're sticking with Biden out of loyalty to the party apparatus, not because Democrats think he's the best person for the job. Of course, if he drops out and doesn't endorse Kamala Harris, a lot of Democrats will be upset that the old white guy knifed the first woman of color VP in the back. But she's super unpopular too, so the Democrats would probably reject her at the convention anyway. Biden should just not endorse. Biden can't do the job, and even if he could, the American people clearly have little confidence in him. His legacy as president depends on what he does next. Democrats aren't in love with Biden, but they like him. He's affable. He got a few items on the Democrat wish list checked off. He beat Trump, There's a lot of goodwill towards the guy. If he were to exit the race gracefully and open the door to someone else, he would be remembered in a positive way by Democrats. If he loses to Trump, he will be blamed for Trump's return, as well as the inevitable sadness party that occurs over the next 4 years. Of course, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the hamster will start turning the wheel again in Biden's head, and he'll be a vigorous campaigner who doesn't slur his speech, remembers names and dates, and can explain his policies in a coherent way. Probably not, though. But political junkies have dreamed of a brokered convention for a long time. It would be a wildly entertaining couple of days. You may think that Biden's nomination is set in stone, but there's a lot of time, and pressure could really start building on Biden, especially if he gaffes again, which is very likely. And besides, you know who got us into this mess? Primary voters. They need a stern talking to. If they're determined to stick this country with these two jabronis, then maybe it's time we change the system. I'm Dan Joseph. Please subscribe, and more importantly, give this video a like if you like it.